Look at the person next to you, give them a high five, say, you're free too. Love it. The family of freedom. Just give the people next to you a high five. Go on. Practice being free. You're free. Tell them you're free. And you're good looking. It's not a lie, they are good looking. Look on the inside. I love you all. I love crazy people that go, no. The reason I failed year 12 3 times when they said, do this and do this, I said, why? And that's why you get a D. You get D's because you doubt stuff, because you discuss stuff, because you're not sure of the condition of the people's mentality that wanted you just to follow orders and not question. Yeah, I'm determined. I'm not dumb. A means an excellent follower. It means acclimatized to the system. Assimilate into, you are the highest form of assimilation. Let me tell you a quick story, then I'm going to get on to our speakers. Someone sent me a text, it was about the Wizard of Oz. Some of you might have seen on social media, it was brilliant. They said the Wizard of Oz is a commentary on modern society. Did you see it? Anyone else see that one? The wizard who's hiding behind the curtain with the big head going, I'm the wizard. And you follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Right? That's the economy. There's all the money. Where does it go? To the wizard. The government at the end of the great golden road, right? And he's big and he's powerful and he's behind the curtain making his head look bigger than it really is. That's called TV and advertising. And the wizard tells you, you can't do this and you need to be quiet. But then there's a bunch of us. We're Toto, the little yappy dog, who runs around behind the head. He gets behind the curtain. He goes, "Rrr, rrr. Hey, there's something wrong here. Look at this. He's just a little guy." Palaszczuk's about this tall. She's not a big head in a million places. She's just one person down there who thinks that you and I should do what she says. She's just a person like you and I. Unfortunately, she's made a contract with Pfizer and she's become their chief salesperson in Queensland. Chief Pfizer salesperson, Anastasia Palaszczuk. Chief Victorian salesman, Daniel Andrews. Chief national salesman, Scotty from marketing. All right, now we know their jobs. Now we know who they really work for. Okay, they now work for foreign powers on Australian soil. That's why they're pushing one thing and they call it health. It's not health. We know it has a side effect of death. If you're a product that has a side effect of death, then you don't take it. So back to the yellow brick road. There's a tin man, the education system. Do what you're told because you've always been told it because that's how we work. Just be robotic. I need a heart. That's the system with the armour and the defence. Here's the law. Go and break up people who are protesting. The police they've tried to make our police into just robotic tin men without a heart. And then they come along and give them a badge. Have you noticed they've got a badge? There's your heart, but it's not a real heart. And then you got the scarecrow, oh, I've got no brains. That's the education, so oh, I've got no brains. And then they get a certificate, a diploma of achievement. Still doesn't have any brains. You just have a certificate. You can be qualified, still no smarter than you were when you started. You can be a doctor and have no people skills whatsoever. You spent 6 years chopping up dead bodies because you weren't allowed to work on real ones. So you know how to dissect the human body, but you don't know what health looks like. Garlic kills viruses. I'm a naturopath. I'm telling you, garlic kills viruses. So how come I need your stuff when I can just give you a clove, breakfast, lunch and dinner, and it rips the protein shell around viruses and bacteria apart? Why do I need your stuff? Let's test my stuff, see if it works first. That's called health. So, and the lion was a bully, he was cowardly, and they gave him a certificate of courage, all these certificates, but that doesn't change the inside. If you keep doing the yellow brick road, you wind up at the same wizard over and over and over, and the wizard is just a sham. just a bunch of people thinking that they know how to tell you how to do your life better than they know how to do your life. That's just a lie. They're actually the least qualified people because they've done nothing for the last, I don't know how long they've been in politics, 20 years. They've literally produced nothing ever. They write papers and policies telling you how you should do your job, but they don't know how to do your job. That's the problem with politics today. They've never had a real job. And their income is not tied to yours, so they don't care how much you lose because they don't lose anything. I vote that we tie them to 10%, no higher than 10 times the lowest paid worker. So, and if the lowest paid worker loses their job, they get no money. That would be great politics. Oh, the Macca's worker doesn't get $12, so you don't get your $120 an hour. They get zero. You know what 10 times zero is? That's how you make a politician care about the community. Hit him in the back pocket. Suddenly he fights real hard for you never to lose your job, never locks you down, especially if he can't do it without your permission. That's where we need to go. So that's my long-term goal. Tie them back into the community's welfare. But how we do it, first we get together. This is a seed. This is like a forest here. You're all a seed. You're all full of great ideas. And I'm going to get some people to get up and speak it. Share about how they see, what can we do? How can we plant ourselves and grow ourselves into a tree, like the tree you're sitting under? Once you grow something mighty, once it's established, and then it's able to branch out and spread and become something that feeds itself. That's what we need to do as a community become. That's what our buying group is like. It's like a tree. We become a trunk that buys and sells, and then we can branch out and we can start to support other ventures out of how we buy stuff. Like going to Coles, we go and buy. And there's money for branching out and doing other things just by doing it together. So you're here as the potential start of a community economic revolution. That's how we fix the thing. Because you know what happens when a tree has a bad branch, i.e. the branch of government? You know what happens when the government starts killing the tree? You know what a tree does? Trees are smart. They stop giving sap to the branch. The branch dies and falls out of the tree and the tree goes on living. I propose we stop feeding the government and they just die and drop out of our collective community relationship. And that's what the buying group actually will do if we do it properly together. We can literally make the branch drop out of our lives. It's all about how you word your relationships. I'll talk about it at the end. I've introduced because I'm talking about them. Right now, I want to invite a couple of speakers up just to give us their practical stuff, not just my ideas, it's all our ideas. So if I asked a couple of people to speak, if you guys want to come up, I'm just going to get you to line up and we'll just take them one by one. So I'll let them introduce themselves and just share a couple of tips and ideas. I'll grab that one. And then, let's get inspired by each other. All right, go for it.
Hi everyone, how are you going? My name's Vic. I've lived in Hervey Bay now for about 7 weeks, I think. Moved up here with my wife and daughter.
Yeah, that's it, right in the mouth.
Can't hear it. We moved up to Hervey Bay about 6 weeks ago with my wife and daughter. We came here because we love the place. We came here because we felt that it had something really special to offer. And
Here you go.
since we've been here, it's gotten better and better in terms of our connections with people. All right. And, all right, start again. 6 weeks we've been here. 6 weeks in Hervey Bay. We moved here on the 3rd of November. We came here because we love the place. We came here because when we first came here and saw it, we could not believe how beautiful it was. We couldn't believe how nice the people were. We couldn't believe everything the place had to offer. And that includes Maryborough, that includes the bay, that includes Childers, it includes everything in the wide bay that we've seen. It's just a stunning area, and it's a place that I think we all should be doing everything we can to protect, and the lifestyle we have here. But they are trying to take that lifestyle away from us at the moment. I came to the first rally, a fortnight or so ago, and I was blown away by the number of people here. And so I got very quickly involved with Rory and the team who have been coming here on Saturdays to sit down and talk about strategies for how we can do things. And I guess bottom line is this is where we've chosen to make our stand, and we're doing everything we can. Now Rory's idea about the buyers community thing is fantastic, and it'll work, and we'll make it work. But we do have some time to get there, and we need a way that we can bridge to getting there, and we've got to be looking for ways that we can be smart about doing that. And an example of what we're looking at doing is this week. We're organising for Wednesday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Anyone who wants to come down and do their shopping at Fresh and Save as part of a group, so that they are, maybe if they're a little bit worried about the mask requirement, come down with that group and we'll all go in together, all not wearing our masks, all do our shopping at Fresh and Save. Now, and everyone, I really want everyone to come up for that. That'll be 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon this week, Fresh and Save. No, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. 4 p.m, sorry. 4 p.m. Let's start again. 4 p.m. Wednesday. 4 p.m. Wednesday. I'll say it 4 times. 4 p.m. Wednesday, 4 p.m. Wednesday, 4 p.m. Wednesday, 4 p.m. Wednesday. All right. What else have we got? I wrote a few things down. What's that? All right. So there is no real strategy, because at the end of the day we don't want to fight, we don't want arguments, we want it to be peaceful. But we don't want people feeling like they're absolutely forced into wearing a mask. And if they're with a group, they'll have a bit of courage and not need to do that. And if someone does happen to get picked on, there's a lot of other people there that can be pointed out that aren't wearing their mask. It's courage by numbers. That's all it is. So anyone who wants to come down and be part of that, please come. What else? So, things that we've been doing. Instead of going to the supermarkets to get our stuff, we've been using the local markets, and we've been buying all our fruit and veg from the local markets. And I can absolutely endorse Nick and Bar on Sunday mornings every second week for all your fruit and veg needs. And frankly, significantly cheaper than the supermarkets. So find a way you can support local businesses where you're not excluded by any mandate or pretend mandate that these governments are making up along the way. Lots and lots of things you can do there like that. What else have I got?
So, since that is a good idea to do that, we can do the same in Maryborough. So Fresh and Safe, Wednesday, 4 o'clock. Then we do that as well, because that is absolutely easy to organise. Thank you.
And I think it's also worth noting with Fresh and Save, they have not mandated vaccinations for their staff. Okay? And my sense is that ultimately they're on the right side of history, and they could ultimately be an ally for us in terms of what we're looking at doing here with Rory and his ideas. What else have I got? Any other ideas, or do we want to get someone else up here? All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks, Nick. So that's what we're talking about, practical ideas. So let me give you a quick mask idea. Someone shared this one with me. Okay, aside from my PTSD, so it makes me punchy. You can do that if you're me, because, well, just I'm me, right? And I'm big, and I've done martial arts, so it's fun. No, are you threatening me? No, it's just my reaction. I can't help it. Every time you say it, it just makes me do this, So anyway, you get away with it if you're cheeky like me, right? Someone said to me, he walked into, I think it was Bunnings or someone, he was wearing a mask, and he walked up to the guy at the counter, and the guy at the counter's like, "Oh, can I help you, sir?" And he goes, on purpose. And the guy's like, what? He goes, and the guy said, "I can't hear you, sir." He goes, and he said, "Sir, can you please take your mask off? I can't understand you. They ask you to take your mask off, you don't have to wear it." It's really simple. Stop worrying. Well, what do they tell you to do? They told me to take the mask off. What can I do? They couldn't understand me. I mean, what did you think would happen when we put masks on? Duh. And that's how simple it is. Walk in and just be unintelligible, which is what they do. They make you unintelligible. Do you understand? So there you go. There's a quick strategy. So try it. Everywhere you go, okay, just put a mask up. And everyone, what? And hold the line up. Because I'll just you'll be sitting there. You drive through. Everywhere you go, it's fun, have fun. We all, oh my God, they told me to wear a mask. Okay, I'm going to have fun wearing a mask. I'll walk in with these. Just stand up. Walk in wearing one of these. It's a mask. It's a mask. Walk in. There's some devil masks. Walk in. Go. I want the devil's food cake. You know, and stuff like that. Have fun. Have fun. People want you to be serious and scared and sad and angry. Walk in. Like, take the mask off. Oh, thanks. Oh, I don't have to be dumb anymore. Fantastic. Dumb means you can't speak. Not stupid. Means can't speak. Dumb literally means mute. All right, so this is Harry. We had fun. We almost got arrested. Harry did get arrested. I didn't get arrested, but I almost got arrested. So Harry's our first arrestee. I don't think you have a record. Not that they know of. But I'll let Harry tell you the story. But we got it all on film too, so we're going to put it out online. I just got to edit some bits about nice cops that we don't want to expose.
Thanks, Rory. Look, first and foremost, I'd like to point something out. Rory does what he does, and I know there are a lot of people in this crowd that are going to think, I can't do that. And that's right. That's dead right. No, you probably can't because you're not Rory. Okay? And I wouldn't ask you to be, neither would he. Okay, so how do you do what you can do? Rory's idea is 100% correct. Okay, be friendly, non-compliant, he's 100% correct. But the words don't come to us that quickly, do they? That's the problem with us. They don't have to. They don't have to come to you that quickly, and I'll give you an example of why. That's why Rory asked me to come up and speak here today. Okay, a little bit of that is my background. My words come to me fairly quickly too, because I'm a Justice of the Peace. In Victoria, I've taken the police to the Supreme Court. I've stood up against them and done blah, 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 all sorts of stuff. So I'm used to this a little bit as well. I've stood for Parliament. I stood against Greg Hunt in his seat in Victoria as an independent in the last election. So politics and law is the thing that I'm very, very passionate about, because that's where justice lays. And justice is what I'm all about. That's why I'm a Justice of the Peace. It's about justice. Okay, that's why I do what I do. But I don't expect all you to do that, but I'm going to tell you something. Because I do what I do, I can achieve that. But my wife and I, at Lifeline, she worked for Lifeline until last week. Lifeline policy, not the law, not the mandates, Lifeline policy determined that my wife got the sack. Now, we went to Lifeline, together with more than 100 other people, by the way, you know, older people, youth, the whole lot. We went to Lifeline and I wrote them a number of letters at the time. And I'm happy to do this for anyone. Contact Rory, he'll give you my number. I'm happy to help, okay? Anyhow, we wrote to Lifeline and we said to them, you can't do this. This is wrong. And that's all we basically said. I didn't quote law at them, or I will later. But I didn't quote law at them. I told them, you are wrong. And I spoke to my wife. I spoke for my wife. Now, the long and the short of it is, over 3 weeks, Lifeline didn't answer us. They just kept quoting policy, policy, policy. So on the last day, Carmel and I went to the Lifeline store in Bay Drive, and we determined we were not going to leave until we got, number one, a separation certificate, because she's under a system with Centrelink. She needed something to take back to Centrelink. They over 17 days that they've stolen from her, days she worked extra, and they refused to honour that. So we stood there and we went into the Lifeline store and we said, Carmel's going back to work. I went with her. Carmel doesn't have the wherewithal that I do, or Rory does, or a number of other people do. And I'm telling you this for a reason. I do. I don't have a problem with it. Neither does Rory. But Carmel doesn't. And it's important to understand for everybody in this arena today. Carmel went with me. She wanted to go, by the way. She's got more courage than 99% of the Australians out there, and I admire you so much for it, Lovey, honestly. What a wonderful, courageous person. Anyhow, the long and the short of it is we went to Lifeline and they wouldn't even talk to her. They just threw her out of the shop. So I took her back into the shop and I said, go back to work. Don't worry about what the manager says. Go back to work. So she went back to work. So they called the police. 2 police cars, about 10 coppers, and I'm not bagging the police. Please let me finish this stuff regarding the police. So 2 police cars, 10 coppers, We have fortunately had a couple of people outside, including Rory, that had little protest signs and things like that. That was good, but not necessary, but great. We had some support, which is an important thing Rory talks about. So anyhow, the police rolled up, took us out of the shop and asked what was going on. My wife was crying her eyes out. She's not used to this. That's why I'm telling you this story. She's not used to this. She doesn't have the wherewithal that I've got or Rory's got or some of the rest of you here have got. She doesn't have that. So she was crying and I said to the officer, she can't do anything here. I'm going to speak for her. Okay? So he said, okay, that's good. So she basically sat on a chair crying for 2 hours because she was just so distressed. Okay? So human beings do this too. Okay? Anyhow, the long and the short of it was the police tried to throw us out of there. They were pretty good about it. They didn't want to do this. Our local police don't really want to do this. They're not the Gestapo of Victoria. Okay, the Victorian police are it's the reason we moved up here. I could not live under that regime. We moved up here also, like Rory did and many others have. These police are not like that, not that I've seen. Okay, they wanted to resolve this situation. And I said to them, you've got two choices. Carmel goes back to work or you arrest us, because we're not leaving here of our own volition. That was it. That was the choice I gave the police. Again, it doesn't bother me. That might bother you, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. You know, Carmel got arrested and put in the police car. The policeman was so apologetic to her.
Tell them how they arrested you.
Yeah. Yeah, the policeman actually come and touched us both on the knee and said, do you mind if we arrest you? We have to. You know, and I'm not saying this to denigrate the police. Please understand that. They didn't want to do this. They were good. They were good. Rory's got the thing on video and it's on the website. They didn't want to do this, but they had no choice according to them. They actually did. And I gave them the choice, just leave. And they said, what are you going to do? And I said, straight back in the shop. So he said, then we'll have to come back and arrest you. And I said, well, arrest us now then. If that's your choice, arrest us now. So they did. They sort of didn't have a choice. See, Lifeline was using them to sort out what should have been a simple civil action. Lifeline should have just addressed this matter in writing. That's all they should have done. But they didn't. They used the Queensland Police to resolve their matter. And the police were put in an unenvious or untenable situation. I respect the police for what they did there. Probably could have done it better, but nevertheless, I'm not a policeman. Okay? So what I'm telling you this is, you can stand. Sometimes Rory gets pretty outspoken. That's why I'm here. That's why I like him. He gets outspoken. Okay? You don't have to be him. Just stand. All you have to do is believe one thing, folks. We have an evil government. Evil. Beyond compare. These people, I'll be honest with you, are no different to Stalin, Idi Amin, Hitler, whatever it is, except they're not wearing the uniforms. So Australian people find it difficult to believe that these people are equally evil to all those other dictators that we've seen throughout the world. They've killed millions, this mob will too, and they won't stop till they have. Okay? So you need to understand that what you're doing, if you stand up right, is for the future of your country and for the future of your kids. Stand up, or you'll lose the whole lot. Yeah, that's what you need to understand, and it's not hard. Be nice to the police. Don't argue with them. Be nice to them. We got charged with restricting trade. Okay, I don't care. All right, so just do that. Be nice to the police. They'll be nice to you. Okay, thank you.
Big round of applause for Harry, everybody. Come on, yeah.
Harry.
Well spoken, Harry.
So there you go. One person taking courage, and 4 of us went down there and stood in the car park with signs there. We were told by the police for blocking trade. So we said, oh, we're happy to move. That's okay. We just went and stood on the footpath. And he goes, oh, look, there's a person trying to get past. I said, look, this is what we do in the shop anyway. After you, sir. It's called manners. I'm more than happy to move out of the way. Are you going to arrest everybody who blocks somebody in the shop? They go, we're giving you a lawful and reasonable direction to move on. I go, well, let's contend with that one. Lawful means it's obeying the law, and federal law says you can't mandate vaccines and you cannot deny people travel. And unreasonable, you're asking me to take a vaccine that the Royal Australian College of GP has now declared diminishes by 22% every month. So that means it's 110% useless in 5 months. You think it's reasonable to shut me out for something that doesn't work within 5 months. Okay, that's unreasonable grounds, and therefore the direction is unreasonable, the mandates are unreasonable. So I've actually written that, we put it on the Fraser Coast rallies as a letter saying, no, I will not be vaxxed for my job, and the other one is a religious exemption letter. It's got 15 pages of the statements around the world about the immorality of the vaccines from all the Orthodox churches. It's really good. And my 3 pages about the moral case, the constitutional case, and the unethical nature of saying a vaccine is safe when it hasn't finished safety trials. So that's a letter. If you need them, give you information, ways to think, it's all on there. And the denial of your vaccine for job, there's actually, I put the work stuff in there. I've highlighted where reasonable, unreasonable in red and blue, just so you know. And then I put all data like Gates' foundation, the World Health Organization say natural immunity is as good as vaccination. And therefore, if Pfizer's diminishing, but natural immunity makes white blood cells, natural immunity is the superior choice. So it's reasonable that I follow my natural immunity and not your diminishing returns crap. That's how you argue. This is not reasonable, it's unreasonable. Here's the scientific data on it from the Royal Australian College of GPs, from the World Health Organization, from Gavi Foundation, from NIH Foundation. It's all there. All the links are there. So go to the site, you'll see the 2 letters, grab them, read them. It'll give you an education in how to talk about it yourself. It's all the stuff I argue. All right, I'm going to ask Ivania to come up. She just needs to go. And I'll let her explain it.
Thank you, Rory. Hi everyone, I'm Ivania and I'm from Maryborough, and I've actually got a medical condition, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because I could be here for hours with it, but I'm not going to be able to stay, unfortunately. I can feel something coming on. So I usually speak and try to give you a different perspective on what's going on to help you and your mental attitude. And this morning when I was laying in bed, I was thinking, oh my goodness, what on earth am I going to speak about today? And the guy next door started coughing his guts up as he had a cigarette. And I thought, that's what I could talk about. Because I remember when I used to smoke and cough my guts up, my mum used to smoke and cough her guts up. And the thing was, I stopped many times. But when I stopped, it was because other people wanted me to. And when I finally decided that I was going to stop smoking for me and my own reasons, it was as easy as that. And I've never looked back. And I'm thinking that this is pushing us now too, because I do know that people do not change because someone else is sick of it for them. They only change when they have had enough. And there's not enough, there's a lot of people at the moment who are coming along and they are getting to their border now, particularly from Friday. And there's a lot of people in this, and there's so much sadness and depression around as well. And I'm really sorry for people, but the thing is, everyone is making a choice. And I do know that people are thinking very, very hard about all the choices they're making. When I first came to Maryborough, I used to do some little talks called What on Earth is Going On? And I was saying there that we will be called as humanity to make a choice soon. I never thought I'd actually live through it. I thought it would be, decades on. But we are being called now to make a choice. And there's so much light coming into the planet to help us, and the cracks are showing. And I really think that it's now starting to fall apart. We've been putting band-aids on too many failing systems for too long. And earlier this year I was doing rallies about March, and I was actually had senatorial aspirations. Thank goodness they went by the side at Easter time. It wasn't something I wanted to do, but I think I was being tested. Will you do this? Oh, okay, if I really have to. And one of the things that I was saying then was we know better and we can do better. And it's really interesting because it's manifesting now. We know better and we can do better, and I think everyone has wanted something different. We can't keep going on as we are. So this collective consciousness of let's change things, let's bring heart into it, let's bring community into it, let's stop doing the corruption and all of that stuff. All of us collectively have asked for this, and this is what we're getting. And so if you can think of it that way, that you're getting what you asked for, and I know I always get what I ask for, but it doesn't come as I want it, usually.
it's wrapped up in other gift paper that I don't necessarily want. But it does help me, it strengthens me, and it helps me also to understand that if I can take responsibility for what's going on, I then am not a victim. I am then a master of what's going on, and I say, what can I do in this adventure? What can I do that allows me to navigate through what's going on? And it will make you change. And that's what happens, is when you've had enough, you change. And we all have to change. And this is, I guess it's an initiation, it's a rebirth, and we are being helped. And I think that if you can keep remembering too, Nelson Mandela had it down pat, you know, when he said he was in prison, but he was free in his mind. And we have the choice of how we do this. Many people, unfortunately, are choosing to be nasty, and they're showing this nasty side of them and think that they have the right to do this to people. And then all of the others, I look at all of you and this beautiful compassion that I can feel and this caring. This is why you're here, because you care, and you care for each other. And it's community that's going to get you through this, and relying on each other, as we used to do before things got out of hand. So please keep your attitude of one of freedom, in that you still have a choice. You have a choice of how you deal with things, and you may not be strong enough to do it. So allow people who are strong enough to do it for you or to help you. I've been going against the tide all my life, and sometimes I'm just not strong enough either. So I do other things, or I sit down and wait a little while and get back again. But one of the things that you all can do for yourself is just sit quietly, close your eyes, and say, I want to hold the light. That's all you need to do, to hold the light. Because as it's been said, there's evil happening. And the light is what we can use. Everyone can use that, and I know that it spreads out when we do that. I'm holding the light in Maryborough Park every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 o'clock at the little chapel near the pond, if any of you are there. And all we do is just meditate, hold quiet space and hold the light. And it really is beautiful, and it uplifts your soul and gives you strength. And that's what we all need at the moment. We are being taught to be compassionate. We're being taught to say we need help. We're being taught to look after others. There are so many beautiful lessons in what's going on here. So please, if you can, just keep thinking of the good stuff that's happening, and the changes and the wonderful changes that you can see around you as community is getting together. So I hand it back to Rory, and I just thank you very... Oh, by the way, I forgot. I've written a book called When the Student is Ready, and some of the proceeds will go to this rally. There's a few signed copies over there if you want to have a quick read and then give it to someone else for Christmas. You know, it's a good double banger buy. So thank you very much.
Big round of applause for Vanya. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Vanya.
Thank you, Vanya. So I just want to give a quick acknowledgement. We've got a couple of guys that do a lot of work in organising these things and putting a lot of communication out. We're trying to be very unified. We're trying to have the same message, organise ourselves. We've been doing this for 4 weeks. Okay, so if we don't seem to be perfect at it, I've done a lot of stuff in a lot of countries, but it doesn't always translate here quite the same. But we're coming up with solutions because we're solution oriented. We're not interested in what doesn't work. We're not interested in what we already know is wrong. We're interested in how we go about changing it. That requires that you have strategies personally in how to change things. You have your society and then the alternative. So you've got a bad tree and you've got a good tree. Well, how do we cut out the branches of the good tree so that we don't have a bad tree, we just have a good tree? So changing strategies means we've got to change what connects to us, what we allow into our life, what we do collectively and individually will change how the relationship the government has to us. Quick heads up, if there's 1,000 people at a rally and they put $100,000 in it, well, if you make on average $50,000 a year, and there's 1,000 people at a rally, that's $50 million a year. You are the economy. It's tied up in a house, tied up in a job, but it's still the economy. You are the entire sum total of what they call capital and assets. All that stuff, they budget their economy and the slice they take that they can spend out of what you make. You don't understand the power you have. You're standing on a stick and they're out on over the cliff going, you all should do this. If we all just step off the stick and say, yeah, have fun with that. The moment you realise that, you are the reason Australia as a nation exists. The landmass doesn't care what government's on it. The earth and everything on it isn't a political system. And the moment you decide you're stepping out of the political system shrinks down to a population of 139 people in a building over there somewhere. And they become their rally. Oh, they should all listen to us. We go, not listening anymore. That's all it takes. We all just go, no. We're going back to what we used to be like 2 years ago when we all hated you because you all backstabbed each other. I don't know if you remember that. Kevin 07, Julia, Kevin 07, Abbott, Turnbull, and now Scotty from marketing. Backstab, backstab, backstab. Judas. Biggest Judas of all. There you go. I've summed up Australian history since 2007. There you go. You've had an Australian history lesson. You shift, hey? Who? The lot. Oh, the lodge. Oh, yeah. They got lots of lodges. They're all over the place. They all come out of the lodge. Yeah. So what I'm saying to you all is, just by shifting your perspective, you shift your ability to go, I'm not going to cooperate there. I'm not going to have an Australian customer reference number anymore. I'm not going to be a customer. I'm going to shop elsewhere for a new government. And we just make our own. And they're just not invited. Just not invited. Well, we just go, look, you can get a job, you just sweeping the floor. You're not allowed to touch the toilet or food because that involves people. You're too dangerous to be around people. You can sweep the floor outside, not in the building, outside. And you have to wear a mask while you do it. Oh, it's funny. See, you just got to lighten up and go, yeah, okay, fine. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Okay, government, we'll just do to you what you're doing to us, but we'll just collectively do it. We're the $50 million economy. See, now you've just discovered who you really are. You're the budget. Every time they go, oh, we're talking about the budget, they're talking about you. Does that make sense? All right, did you want to come and share? All right, this is a brilliant idea. There's people getting organised like us, coming out with solutions. Have a listen to this. This is fun.
Hello, a little bit about me. My name's Muriel and I've lived in Hervey Bay since 1972, but I've been away several times and this is my 4th time back to stay here permanently.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if anyone has seen what's been happening in Western Australia, but I saw it on there this morning and they have their rallies the same as what we're having over here. And Mark McGowan, the Premier of Western Australia, has made all union members and all their delegates exempt from mandates. So the rally organisers over there have decided to form the Great Australian Anti-Mandating Union, so that if all the people who protest join the union, then they're all exempt from mandating. And I believe you could probably get the owners of businesses, the small businesses, to join that union as well. Now, while I've been standing here, I thought, well, it's the Great Australian Anti-Mandatory Union, which means we could all probably join it as well. But the only drawback there, the exemption may only stand for Western Australia. But if we could get something simpler going, but I think that was a brilliant idea for everybody to boycott those mandating laws, which aren't really laws. Anyway, that's from me.